In Japan, snow is not celebrated, it is respected. In many rural areas, winter is the season when paths disappear, when sound is swallowed, and when people lower their voices without realizing why. Because when snow becomes too quiet, it is believed that something else is listening. For centuries, there has been a name whispered only during winter: Yuki-Onna, the woman of the snow. This is not a story meant to frighten children, this is not told for entertainment. This is spoken of carefully, often indirectly, as if saying her name too clearly might draw our attention. Yuki-Onna is said to appear during blizzards, on mountain passes, near forests, or along roads where travelers lost their way. She doesn't arrive suddenly, she doesn't announce herself, she is simply there. Those who sees her describes a woman dressed in white, her figure tall and slender, her skin pale like freshly fallen snow. Her hair is long and dark, and her feet do not leave footprints behind her. At first glance, she doesn't look dangerous. In fact, many mistake her of a human woman, and that mistake has cost countless lives. What makes Yuki-Onna different from other spirits is not how she kills, but how gently she does it. She doesn't chase, she doesn't scream, she doesn't strike, she removes warmth. People who encounter her often describe the same sensation: a sudden calm, a strange sense of peace, an overwhelming desire to rest. By the time they realize the cold is inside them, their bodies are already failing. This is why elders say winter should never be underestimated. Snow doesn't need to be violent to be deadly. One of the oldest stories of Yuki-Onna comes from rural Japan, passed down through generations of woodcutters and villagers. Long ago, a father and his young son were traveling home through the mountains. A snowstorm caught them unexpectedly, the wind so strong it erased the road behind them. Unable to continue, they found shelter inside a small mountain hut. The hut was old, empty, barely standing, but it was enough to survive the night. As darkness fell, the storm grew louder, the wind pressed against the walls, howling in a way that sounded almost like breathing. Late that night, the son woke up. At first, he thought he was still dreaming, because standing inside the hut was a woman. She had not opened the door, she had not made a sound, she was simply there. Her breath appeared white in the cold air. Her hair moved as if touched by water instead of wind. She floated toward the father. She bent down gently and blew on his face. There was no struggle. By morning, the father was frozen solid. No wounds, no blood, just silence. When the woman turned to the son, she paused, and for the first time she spoke. She told him she would spare his life, not out of mercy, but because he was young. But she gave him a warning. If she ever spoke of her to anyone, she would return. Then she vanishes into the snowstorm. The boy survived, and he kept the secret for many years. Time passed, the boy grew into a man. He left the mountains and began a new life. One winter, he met a woman traveling alone. She was quiet, gentle, and unusually pale. She never complained of the cold, She avoided fire, she prepared open windows, even during winter. Despite these strange habits, she was kind. They married, they had children. For many years, they lived peacefully. And slowly, the memory of the snow woman faded. Until one winter night. Snow fell heavily outside their home. The fire burned low. And the man, without thinking, began telling his wife a story. A story about a snowstorm, a hut, and a woman made of snow. As he spoke, his wife grew silent. His face lost its warmth, and then she said something he had never expected to hear. That woman was me. She reminded him of the promise he had broken. She told him she would kill him, but then she looked at their children and she hesitated once again. She spared his life, not for him, but for them. And then she disappeared, never seen again. This is why Yuki-Onna is not described as cruel. She is described as inevitable. She represents winter itself, a force that doesn't hate, doesn't love, and doesn't care. In Japan, nature is not evil, it is indifferent. Snow doesn't chase you, it waits. Even today, hikers and villagers claim to see her, a woman standing alone during a blizzard, a soft voice calling from the trees, a sense of calm just before collapse. Some are found alive, some are not. Locals say she chooses, and if you are chosen, you will not feel fear, only cold. So if you ever find yourself walking alone in falling snow, and the world suddenly grows quiet, and you see a woman standing perfectly still, do not follow her, do not speak to her, and never believe she is lost, because Yuki-Onna doesn't wander, she waits.